And yeah, you can just stand here. I'm going to introduce the next person. On Twitter, Erin Schrode calls herself a green girl, a rabble-rousing optimist, and an eco-fashionista. She is the co-founder of Teens Turning Green, which promotes global sustainability, youth leadership, and conscious lifestyle choices. She has also founded the Schoolbag, a youth education project to provide tools and materials for students in need. Give a round of applause to Erin Schrode.
All right, thank you for that kind introduction. I believe in the power of education above all else in the world. Education and action, that coupling is hope, that's the future, that's success in every facet, in every application. An aware, non-apathetic population is what I believe our world needs to combat these sorts of sweeping changes, to face the issues that we have today, to sustain and to hand over a resilient state to future generations. That's me. I'm a 22-year-old university student. Hi. So look around you. This is who we are. It's not the future, it's today. We're the citizens, we're the voters, we're the parents, we're the employers, we're the employees, and we're the policymakers. We're all of that and then some, because we have today our power and influence amplified to such a magnitude with this rapid digital connectivity that has never been seen before. So while we have these incredible modern tools, modern advances, we're also living in a world with unrivaled degradation and inequity. So I see this need to learn and sustain, with a clear emphasis on both learn and sustain being paramount. I want to share with you my foundation for these beliefs. As she said, I am eternally optimistic. I'm a rabble-rouser. I am future-focused, yet very present in the here and now. I'm an education enthusiast and a fierce believer in the power of my generation to bring about the change we need. So let's rewind to 1991, which is the year that I was born. And my mom was pregnant with me. She read a book called Diet for a Poisoned Planet. My dad went to work and he came home and she had completely organicized the entire home. That was literally and figuratively the world into which I was born and raised. Organic food, knowing my farmer, carpooling, a glass water bottle in my backpack at age 5. This was the norm. I was taught to approach any problem, any troubling notion, any injustice as an opportunity for a solution. So I grew up with this grassroots activism. My school, the motto was think, question, create. This idea of critical thought as being imperative to your every action, to your every day. And that third step, that think, question, create, is so critical when we're living in a world of overshoot. So I want to go into this idea. We talk about these 600 million new jobs that so desperately need to be created. Yes, absolutely. But I want to broaden that context to the environment, because that's what I come from as an environmentalist. So Earth has a finite capacity, yet the resources are being used at a rate faster than we can replenish them, as is the clear case in industrial deforestation, for example. So our demands of the biosphere are greater than its capacity, which, not to sound fatalistic, but leads to the depletion of natural capital and the inability to sustain life. So then what do? Where are we caught when we're using 1.5 planets today in terms of the regeneration and also the ability to absorb waste? If these trends continue, we're going to be using 2 planets, which means it takes the Earth 24 months to regenerate what we use in 12. And we're only perpetuating this idea of overshoot. And I just tell you this as one example of some information that I have gleaned. So to take action, to reverse these trends, I have to be aware of the state of society. I have to be aware of the state of the planet. But in order to do that, I need to be educated, or else you just go about business as usual. So if education is the great news, wonderful, we have it. Let's go for it. We can solve the problems tomorrow, right? But that's the issue, that our population isn't educated. And we just go around assuming that everyone knows to know. Everyone's like us. They have this ability to think critically. Well, that's troubling to me, as I'm sure it is to you, and I want to tell you today about 2 specific things that I did to go about combating that. When I was 13, a study came out linking the ingredients in personal care products to cancer, birth defects, and reproductive harm. And I had this idea in my head that someone, some governing body, some adult, had to have my best interests at heart, looking out for the planet, looking out for society. And I was outraged at 13 years old to find out that wasn't the case. And I told some of my friends, and they had to say, what? What are you talking about? Somebody has to be protecting us, protecting the future. Well, no, as you all know, and we came together. I co-founded in 2005 an organization called Teens Turning Green with my mother, and the mission is to educate students, primarily high school and college students. We also work with middle school students and elementary school students, often at the request of teachers and students who don't want them to wait to start this critical thinking process around environmentally sustainable and socially responsible lifestyle choices. What does that mean? It means that you have the ability in your day-to-day, it might be small, but it's so much more than one choice. It's so much more than looking at personal care products, at looking at sustainable apparel, at looking at your school campus as a palette for exploration. It's not this isolated moment, it's a perspective, it's a way of life. So this brings me to the topic of sustain. We talk about learn and sustain. And to me, sustainability in its truest form relates to life's ability to survive, to thrive, without collateral damage, so without any trade-off for another being, entity, or entire system. So we talk about externalities, these unintended consequences of our actions. So be that rampant unemployment, be that the bioaccumulation of toxins in our body, be that natural resource depletion, societal plagues of poverty, of inequality. We're privatizing our gains and socializing these costs onto the community and onto the natural world. So bottom line, we need the systems thinking approach. And the promise is really simple. If we can begin to see the interdependency that actually exists, we'll think differently and act differently. And that's not only reform in our own lives, that's in business, that's in government, that's in movements. Moving from less bad to more good. So I break this down as saying, your aim is not to lessen harm, to mitigate risk, to save face, to appease people. Your aim should be to have a net positive impact, to embed shared value propositions, and to find functional, relevant ways to make doing the right thing, doing the good thing, easy. And then we scale that. So these multifaceted benefits without trade-offs and with the intention and ability to continually prosper within these very mechanisms, these systems. So I want to be that catalyst, be it with Teens Turning Green, be it consulting with businesses about my generation, about millennials' tendencies towards sustainability as it relates to consumerism, as it relates to digital practices. So I clearly love talking about this. I'm very passionate, and I realized just how privileged I was to even be able to think about these issues. And there was a seminal moment for me, which was January 12th of 2010. And I was sitting as a first-year undergraduate student at my desk at New York University, and these images popped up on my home screen. And it was Haiti, and an earthquake had just ravaged the capital city of Port-au-Prince. Devastation, destruction, damage. And I'm getting chills thinking about it. And something inside me snapped. So what did I do? I called my mom. I picked up the phone, and I called my mother in California, and I said, I'm going to Haiti tomorrow. And she said, I was expecting this call. So I don't know if that's something in my nature, but I felt, with no connection to this place before, no experience in disaster relief, that I could do something for the kids, that I, as a kid, could connect on a level. So this non-medical 18-year-old girl boarded a plane to Port-au-Prince. And I was sitting in pediatrics one night with children asleep all over me, and this translator, he was an out-of-work teacher, said to me, if I only had the materials, I'd teach the kids myself. And those words played over and over again in my home. I thought, if a pen and paper can make the difference for Sam, then maybe that's all other teachers need to connect and to activate these minds, that it would begin the process to allow children to resume their studies, to grow intellectually, and to contribute to the world. So that's the basis of the school bag. Literally, it is the supplies a student needs to learn for a year in a backpack. But figuratively, it's a solution that empowers young people. It is not the one solution, but I refuse to give that the shrug of inevitability. And I wanted to invest directly in youth, because I believe that access to education, we see it, has clear economic, has clear political benefits. You have good governance and growth and jobs and human dignity, that we can move away from this socially and environmentally costly life. So there's a Haitian proverb that guides much of the school bag's work, which is, a child who is not educated has no tools for the future and is not important to the society. Well, that's not just Haiti. That's worldwide. Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And that's the learn element. That's who I am. That's why I believe in spreading these messages. That's why I'm here today, to put that knowledge into practice so you can even begin to implement change. So regardless of where they are in the world today, kids want to know. I see the inquisitive nature when we open these doors around the environment with teens turning green. I see in Haiti the desire to make that possible. So we need to be educated. Citizen activism and championing of education is the power to affect change. So call me idealistic. I'm still but 22 years old. I think that we're all in this together, and that when we share and amplify best practices and educate the next generation, we can affect change. We don't inherit the world from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. That's the truth. And if we can open this mind and have this two-way street of education, people realize two main things. You're not alone. Someone else sees the world in the way that you see it, your desires, your fears, your dreams, your goals, and that there is an unimagined possibility today with these tools to actually combat these issues, to make co-creation possible, to create these jobs that we need, to implement the sustainability that we speak of. So I ask you, not only as a member of that generation, but as a mother to the next generation, to be champions of education, to pause and to question the systems that are in place, and to throw out the ones that fail. If they're not working, get rid of them. This isn't about step-by-step incremental change. This is radical transformation that we need starting today in 2012. So I see that as an opportunity to dream and do, which is my motto, and create a better world that can be thoroughly enjoyed by all for all time. Thank you.